Hello, this is Annette Durbin from the Digital Teacher blog, and I'm going to share with you how to make a Google form. So you're going to go into your Google Drive, click on the plus sign, and then you're going to go down until you can find Forms, which is the purple icon. Once you click on the purple icon, then the form will open up. And one of the things that I recommend is to go ahead and name your form. So I'm just simply going to call this sample. And then I click here, and then that title transfers over. Okay, so here you're going to see that you are in the question format, and what you're going to start doing is entering your questions. So whenever you click in the question area, you will be able to type in the first question. So my first question will be, how are you doing today? And then the system is going to automatically recognize that this could be a multiple choice response. And so I could have an option, I'm doing swell. And if I want to add another option, I could say I'm doing great. Today I'm sad, whatever it is that you want to add. And then if you want to do an other where they can choose whatever it is that they want to write, then you can also add that in there. Okay. So whenever you're doing your questions, if you don't want to have multiple choice and say you want to do something else, you're going to go over to the question side. And again, that's simply clicking right over here. And you can choose a short answer. And this is generally about 2 sentences. Paragraph is about 3 to 5 sentences, plenty of room for the students to write. You can do the multiple choice, and you can have as many multiple choice as you like. And then you can do check boxes if you would like that as well. And if you'd like to do a drop-down menu, then you can click on the drop-down menu, and then you'll be able to have the item, and then the others will be embedded within. And then you could also upload a file. So if you have another PDF item that you would like to add in, you could do that. If you like to do a Likert scale, a scale of 1 to 5, or you can change it to be 1 to 10 at the highest. And also, if you want to do a multiple choice grid or a checkbox grid, you can do that as well. So the opportunities to have a different type of response for your questions is endless. So it depends on what your form is about. If your form is for a quiz, another type of assessment, if your form is just collecting some kind of data from your students, that will all depend upon the questions that you have as well as the answer responses. Okay. When you are done with your question, one of the things I like to call your attention to is down here. If you would like to make certain that this is a mandatory question that students respond to, you want to toggle over to the right. If it doesn't have to be a response, if they have the option of responding to the question, then you can just leave it unchecked. So when it is the dark, then you know that that is required. So whenever the students are at the very end and they are ready to submit, if they push submit and there are some questions that has not been answered, but it is required, the system will not let them submit their work until they go back and answer that question. If for some reason you do your question and you see that you don't want it, then you can just click the delete. Or if you like the question and you want to copy it, you can just duplicate that question. Okay. And you will see the question is exactly the same thing. However, you can go and change the different question types. So you can keep part of the question if you would like, or just ask the question a different way and take a different type of response. One of the things too that you can do is to move your questions around. So whenever you're done, you're going back to reorder your questions, or you want to insert another question somewhere. What you can do to reorder them is to click on those dots right there, those 6 dots, click on it and use drag. So it's just a drag and a drop. Okay. Something else that you can do for your questions is if you like to add in a photo, you can upload an image. And whenever you're doing your questions, if there's a question that you don't want, you can simply click on it. Let me add in some other options here. And you'll see over here, you can just click on them if you don't want one of the responses. Okay. So I hope that has been helpful. You can add a description. You can shuffle the order of the questions if you like, so that they are not the same for each time that they respond to the questions. Or if another student A and you have student B are sitting beside each other and you want to make certain that they are focusing on their assessment or their assignment, then you can shuffle the order and then there will not be any opportunities for sharing answers. If you are done with that question, you want to add another question, simply click on the plus sign and that adds another question. Then you would go through the same process of choosing the response type, typing in your question, and then you can also choose the correct answers for that as well. You can import questions. You can also do a title and a description for each of the sections or questions. To add a section, you would just click on this part here. For example, if you were doing an assignment on animals and you wanted to have information about their habitat, information about the foods they eat, information about where they might be located on a continent, then you can, add different sections. If you would like to embed a photo or a video, you can always do that. It's kind of nice to embed a video if you are doing a quiz and you want them, or if you're just trying to gather information. You're looking at the video, and then they have some questions to respond to as a result of the video. So those are some really nice options that you can do. So one of the nice things about forms is it can be very, very multimedia. Hey, really quick, one of the things that I wanted to share with you that I forgot to add, so I'm adding this now, is about how to do the answer key. So what you'll do is when you have your question, and then right here in blue, you'll see that says answer key. So you click on that, and then you can choose what the correct answer is going to be, okay? And if it's multiple answers that they'll need to choose, then you can also choose multiple answers as well. If you do have multiple answers, and one thing you might want to do is to let the students know that, choose two answers, or if it's a list of 6 or 7 choices, you can let them know that 3 of the choices are correct. If you want to do that, you don't have to. The other thing that you'll do is go ahead and embed the points. So points go from 0 to whatever it is that you want, and you can also use this arrow here to do your points. Okay, and so after you have your answer entered in and you have your points chosen, then you would click done. And so that question is completed. When you are all done with your questions, I know I've shared a lot of information there. When you are all done, what you're going to do is go up here to the settings, and you're going to click on that little wheel. Here you have some other options. So if this is some information that you would like to collect, okay? So if you want to collect addresses, which I'd recommend collecting addresses, another thing that I would recommend is one of the questions, the very first question is to enter in what is your name, so that you also have the name for each of the students or the people that are taking the form. You can also, you give a response receipt at the end, so you can always do that, or you can have the person elect to do it by the box that you check. If you would like to restrict the users here, because this is a Matsu school district Google account, then I can restrict it just to the students at Matsu school. Or I can, if I was using my other account, then that would not be an option. So it would be open to anyone. Then I can also click on this here to limit one response. So that means each student could take one of the forms, assessments, or whatever it is, one time, not multiple times. Another thing that you can do is at the very end, after they submit, you can give them some options. So they can have an option to edit. After they submit, they can go back and look at their answers and change them up if they like. You can also give an option for them to see a summary chart and their text responses. So you can do any of these items. All you need to do is just click the appropriate boxes. Make certain that when you're done, you click on save. For the presentation here, you can show a progress bar, so that way they know if they're 10% done, 50% done, if they have 3 questions left to go. And as I shared before, you can also shuffle the question order. One of the nice things that I like to do is to be able to add a confirmation message. So once this person is done with their assignment, what I like to do is to put a little note up there so that they see, I'm sorry, thank you for doing your best work. And then I'm going to let them know what I'd like for them to do next. Okay, so next you will open your text to page 54 and begin reading. And perhaps my next sequence is going to be another concept. And so this would be an opportunity for the students to do some pre-learning, so that when they come together with me as a class, then they have been exposed to the information and our session will go a little bit quicker. So it's very, very similar to flipped learning. Then you can also save here, or you can wait till you're done with all 3 sections and then save. If what you're doing is a quiz, you simply toggle over to the right to make it a quiz. One of the really, really nice options for Chromebooks, this is been about a year ago, Google did this, but you can click turn on locked mode. What I really like about this is that when students are taken the form, the quiz, whatever it is that you're doing, they cannot do anything else on the Chromebook, if they're on a Chromebook, except the form that's in front of them. If they're on a different type of computer and you're not able to lock them out, then they, of course, they would be able to go to different windows. However, with the Chromebook, this is what they can do. So they can only use the form that's in front of them. The other thing you can do is to decide if you're going to release the grade immediately after they submit, or if they need to wait until you respond to some of their questions. Perhaps if you have short answer and long answer questions, that's something that you need to go and grade before you actually submit the grade to the student. Or if you just want, if everything was multiple choice and it's already graded, but you want to get everybody's responses in first, and then you want to share their grade, then you can do that as well. You can also decide if you want to check these boxes so that respondents can see the missed questions, if they could see the correct answers, and they could see the point values. I would recommend that you not collect or let students have this data, missed questions or correct answers, until everyone has taken the test, even those students who have been absent. So therefore, you might want to do later after manual review, and it's total option for you, but that will help to alleviate any other concerns about sharing answers. When you're all done for all 3 sections, always click save. Okay, so then that information will be saved to this actual form. Another thing that you want to do is to go over here to the custom theme, and you can choose an image. So at the very top of the form, there is a header. You can use items that are already uploaded by Google. You can upload your own. And if you have other photos that you would like to input, you can do that as well. I'm just going to choose the little jelly beans. Click on it, and then you just click on insert. And then the color theme is going to adjust based upon the colors of your header, and everything is going to be able to match. Okay, if you want to change the background, different shades, you can do that as well, depending upon what it is that you want it to look like. And you can also change the font style. Okay, remember when you're doing font style to make certain that is an accessible style for all students, regardless of their abilities to learn and read text. Let's see, you want to see a preview, you click on the eyeball, and here you'll actually see a preview of everything and what it looks like to the student. Okay, all right, so I have this on lock mode right now, so I can't actually get into it. So let me go back and turn off lock mode, and then we'll take another peek at that. So again, I'm going to go into settings. All right, settings right there, and I'm going to go into the presentation, quizzes, and turn off the lock mode. Okay, then I'm going to click save, and then I'll be able to actually see it. So I'm going to click on the preview. Okay, so here I can see the questions that I have available. Okay, so you notice when it was a locked mode, because I have these other tabs open, I'm not able to actually take the test or complete the form. However, if it is lock mode is off, then I can. So there you can see exactly how that works. Okay, so I'm going to go back into my edit. So I click on the pencil. And let me look here. So I shared all these with you and I'll share with you at the very end on another form how to do the responses. So keep that in mind. You can only access this through the responses through the Google Drive on the form that you have where it's saved there. Okay, just an FYI on that. So when you're ready to share this information, you want to click send. And then you can send this information a couple different ways. You can email this form out to people by clicking and typing in their email address. You can also get a link, and this is what I typically do is use a link, and I do click the shortened version so that way I don't have a long version to do. The other thing that I will do is type in the word icon in Google Classroom, then I'll highlight the word and click on the link button, which are the 2 interlocking paper clips, and then I will enter the form so that way the kids don't actually see all of these words and letters. Actually, they're letters, but they can actually see the word, and then they'll just click on it and it'll take them right to the form. Another thing you can do is to embed. So you can use this, if you're familiar with HTML, you would use this and embed it into the HTML section of the document. Okay. After you choose what it is that you want to do, I'm going to choose the shortened form of the link. Then you go over here and you just click on copy. You'll notice that you can also send this to Facebook and Twitter. So depending upon the age of the students that you're working with, you would be able to access that information. And if you have an account with that information for the items that you're teaching or whatever it is that you're doing. Even if you're not teaching, it could be for whatever. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to come out of this and I'm going to go back. And then if I'm going to send this form out to my students, then I would go to the Google Classroom and I would type in the message about taking the test. And I would enter in that Google link. And I can enter in just a link, or I can do a hot link where I type in the name of the test. And then as I shared, I will highlight that, click on the link button, and then embed it. Okay. All right, so that is information. That's everything that I can think of about forms that you'll need to know to be successful. So one thing I wanted to do is to share with you a form that I did earlier, not too long ago, whenever we had our students doing remote learning. And I wanted to check in with the students every single day to see how they were doing. So here you'll see that I have a variety of questions. I have directions for the students first. I have information about their, what's happening today. So you'll see that there's a short answer text. Here's another one where I'm asking them to put the date in. They're here, and this one here, I entered in an avatar of myself. So that was just simply clicking on the picture to upload it. Here you'll see that there's multiple choice, a long answer for these questions, and then is another opportunity where I clicked in and I put in a picture, an image. Okay. So whenever you are looking at your responses, you'll want to make certain that you pull this form up from your Google Drive. Okay. As you see, that's exactly what I did. I was in my Google Drive. I clicked on it and it opened up. And from here, I'm able to look at the responses. So I click on the responses, and here I can see the responses to what my students shared different ways. So I can see a summary of all the responses here, and I can see the percentages and how they responded to the different question right here in front of me. Okay. A pie graph here, I can see how they're doing. So I can see my data in different ways. Then another way that I can do this is to look at the individual questions. I believe I had 6 questions. And so I can look at every question, and see all the students' responses. Okay. And another way I can do that is just to look by the individual student. So I can click on the individual, and then I can see exactly how the student acts, or how he responded to everything. Okay. I can print my results. And one of the other things that I can do is go up here to this little plus sign, and I can click on the plus sign, and then I can send all of this information from my whole class, all these responses, into one Google spreadsheet or Google document. I can retitle it here if I need to do that. But anyways, once I do that, I click on create, and then it's going to create this document, and it's going to go right back into my Google Drive. So you'll want to be able to go back into that and have a file so that you can keep everything together. So here at the top, you can see that there is the time that they did it, because I included that as one of my options. Their name, the date, and how are they feeling. And so these are all the questions that I had, and then these are the students' responses. Okay. All right. So I hope that this information has been helpful for you. And it's using Google Forms is a great way to gather information and to also see how students are doing and to give an assessment. So I hope that you learned how to do a Google form and that you are ready to go and do your own. All righty. Have a great day. Bye.